Hello everyone, my name is Rosalind Zacharias. I am the Employment Specialist here at Steps to Success. I'm back today for another workshop. Today the workshop is going to be on the MBTI self-assessment. Before we get started, I want to give you guys our contact information. You can find us at www.lssjax.org. Here is our location information and our phone number to reach us if you want to know a little bit more about our program or possibly taking this assessment. You can call us at 904-730-8256. All right, let's get started. So why use self-assessments? So self-assessments allow people to get to know themselves. They get to know how they make decisions, why they make certain decisions. So overall helps you get to know yourself a little bit better. And with that information, it helps you be more informed to make better decisions later. It's also used as an exploration tool. So if somebody maybe doesn't know where to start, doesn't know what they're interested in, this might be a good place to start to help you figure out maybe a route that you could possibly take. So moving on, let's talk about what is MBTI. So MBTI stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. So this was created by the mother-daughter team of Isabella Briggs Myers and Catherine Cooks Briggs, and it was based off of Carl Jung's theory of personality. So that theory of personality states that, or talks about how perceived random behaviors may just be a difference in how people prefer to think about things. So with that information, this mother-daughter duo created a self-assessment to help to indicate how individuals' preferences, or indicate individuals' preferences in how they make decisions and perceive the world around them. So there are 16 MBTI types. So these are them here, and we'll go through them. There's INFP, and that's considered the healer. INFJ, and that's considered the counselor. INTJ, the mastermind. INTP, the architect. ISFJ, the protector. ISFP, the composer. ISTJ, the inspector. ISTP, the craftsman. ENFJ, the teacher. ENFP, the champion. ENTJ, the commander. ENTP, the visionary. ESFJ, the provider. ESFP, the performer. ESTJ, the supervisor. And ESTP, the dynamo. So we're going to go into a little bit about the letters that go into making these combinations. So the 4 dimensions of MBTI. So where do we get our energy is where we'll get extroversion or introversion. The second letters, which would be S or N, is how do we take in information. The third letter would be how we make decisions, and that's either going to be T or F. And how do we organize our world, and that's going to be either J or P for that last letter. So again, let's go into a little bit more detail about each letter. So with extroversion versus introversion. So again, this is where we get our energy. So with extroversion, this tends to be the people that like to act and then think, or you can think about that as thinking out loud. They get their energy by being around people. They like to be the center of attention. They enjoy that. They like to be very sociable. And with introversion, these people tend to think and then act. So they'll think about all the ways that a conversation can go and then act on that. They get their energy by spending time alone or being by themselves, and they may feel drained in social settings. So I wanted to provide you guys some preferred practices of extroverts versus introverts. So with extroverts, they prefer opportunities that allow for teamwork. So they definitely prefer teamwork setting, prefer jobs that involve teamwork settings, working with people, being hands-on. They prefer a varied task. They don't want to do the same thing over and over again. They like a faster paced environment, and they learn by talking and doing. So they're very tangible. They like to be able to try it themselves. So with extroverts, a desk job is probably not going to be something that they enjoy, And again, quiet environments can be kind of draining for them because they get their energy from being around people. Now moving on to introverts, they prefer to work independently. So you can give them a task, they'll work on getting it done themselves. They don't need to be a part of a group. And they learn by observation. And they like to be able to focus on one task at a time. So getting handed multiple tasks might be a little overwhelming for them. And a lot of interaction might be very draining. And they like to be in control of their interactions. So moving on to sensing versus intuition. So this is going to be that S and N, and that's how we take in information. So with sensing, they're very present focused. So they focus on what's in front of them. They focus on getting information through their senses. So what they can see, what they can touch, things like that. And they're very focused on the details. They prefer work that's in step-by-step fashion. They will put things in step-by-step fashion. They're very literal and also practical. Now with the intuition side, they're very future focused. They like to present information as the big picture. They're very focused on the meanings of things. They're very imaginative, and they tend to read between the lines. So I like to think of this as when you're given a project, someone that's sensing might think of the steps to get to the goal first, versus intuition might think of the end goal and then the steps. Moving on to the preferred practices of sensors versus intuitives. So with sensors, they're very satisfied in seeing end results of things. They enjoy to work on practical and realistic tasks. Very abstract projects can become frustrating for them. They like to work on concrete issues, and they like to develop expertise in skills. So they don't like busy work. They like to be able to develop a skill and be very good at it. Now on the intuitive side, they like to work where imagination and innovation is key. So they like a variety of tasks. They like where they can have a little fun with it. They can have more flexibility. And they enjoy learning a skill and then moving on to another one. So with that, it's just they don't like to be doing the same thing over and over again. So they struggle with things like attention to detail. And maybe something that's like a long-term project might be frustrating to them. They might not enjoy doing it as much. They want to be able to have that variety of tasks. So moving on to thinking versus feelings. So again, this is how do we make decisions? So with thinking, they're very focused on the facts and logic when making a decision. They accept the idea of conflict as a normal part of a relationship. Now, this isn't to say that they enjoy conflict. This is just saying that when making a decision, they take into the account that maybe not everybody would like the decision, but it might be the best one. They're motivated by accomplishments, and they're very objective when making decisions. Now, on the other side, we have feeling. So they're focused on the effect of the action and what that would have on others. So the effect of the action on others. They're very bothered by conflict, and they promote harmony. So they are definitely wanting everybody to be happy. They don't want to be conflict in the workplace. So they'll make decisions based on that. They're motivated by appreciation, and they're very sympathetic. So now talking about some preferred practices of thinking versus feelings. So with thinkers, they like to look at the cause and effect of things. They're very data-driven. They think about the practical application of things. They're very into critiquing or finding inconsistencies, and they very much weigh the pros and cons. Now, while the feelers, on the other hand, they focus on people interaction. So they're very people-oriented. They enjoy hearing positive feedback. They think about the personal applications of things. They think as others think. So they tend to follow the group's lead in making decisions to avoid that, to avoid conflict or avoid it being not harmonious. And they're very focused on compassion as well. So I like this little graphic here with the T thinking of the pros and cons of a decision, while the feeler is thinking, is this important to me? Now the last pairing of letters is going to be J and P for judging versus perceiving, and this is how we organize our world. So with judging, they're very goal and deadline oriented. So the people that are J's really need structure, and they like to make plans and schedule in advance. And along with that, they don't like when plans change. While on the other hand, you have perceiving. So they are very spontaneous people. They enjoy flexibility. They can adjust quickly when new information is available, and deadlines are seen as more flexible. Now, some preferred practices for judging versus perceiving is the following. So with judgers, they like to follow a plan that they made. So if they scheduled something, if they made a plan, they want to see it through. And they rather work and then play. So they rather spend like a few hours working, get it all done, and then relax and play. They make quick decisions, and they are really enjoying the timely completion of projects. So they like to get things done by the deadline. That's very important to them. So with perceivers, flexibility in tasks and schedules is really important to them. They like to be flexible. They don't like tasks that have straight deadlines. They're looking for more open-ended projects. They might enjoy investigating or researching as their type of job because they don't have very strict goals. And they like a variety of things, doing a variety of tasks. And I really like this picture of judging versus perceiving. As you can see here, with the judging, they have a timeline. They had things due at specific times of the project, and then they got it done on time. With the perceiving, it's kind of all over the place, but they did get it done. Now, applying MBTI to career choice. So something important to note is that every type can do every job. That this just comes down to preference and how certain preferences will make you more comfortable in certain career fields. So again, this is just meant to be a starting point. It's not supposed to be the end-all be-all. If you take the MBTI and you get certain career fields, that doesn't mean that those are the only career fields that you can go into. It's just supposed to give you an idea. It can be helpful when deciding a work environment. Again, it gives you those preferences. You might want to consider going into a career field where you might be comfortable using your MBTI and things like that. It's just supposed to give you an idea, and it reflects your preferences and what brings you satisfaction. So I wanted to give you some things to keep in mind. The MBTI does not assess intelligence, aptitude, skill, or normalcy. Doesn't do any of that. It's just telling you your preferences in certain situations. And not one type is better or worse than the other. Although I do have to tell you that every type thinks their type is the best. And with that, there is some persistence to the MBTI. Generally, when the type that you get doesn't change over time. The only thing that changes is like the strength of it. And that just depends on new experiences and how you adapt to them. So in a situation, you might use your P a little stronger than your J. So the strength changes a little bit, but the overall type doesn't change over time. So hopefully at this point you guys are interested in taking the test. If you are, it's free of charge. We offer it free of charge. You can call the number 904-730-8256. We can set up an appointment with you guys to take that test with us. We can go over your results and we can have that conversation. And I did want to give you some tips for taking the test. When you do take the test, make sure you're taking the test in a relaxed setting. We don't want you doing it as you're doing something else. We don't want you multitasking. Take a couple minutes to take the test when you're nice and relaxed. We don't want you lingering on questions for a long time. Don't overthink them. And pick the answer that reflects who you are most of the time. A lot of the times these tests give you an option for neutral feeling or it depends feeling. Try to avoid picking those as much as possible and pick the ones that reflect you most of the time. All right, that is the end of my workshop today on the MBTI self-assessment. If you have any questions, please comment them down below or private message us. If you're interested in taking the test or learning more about the Steps to Success program, please call 904-730-8256. And please remember to like this video, give us a like. And also, if you've already taken the MBTI, please leave your MBTI down in the comments. I'd love to see everyone's MBTI letters. I'll go ahead and put mine in the comments as well. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. Thank you so much.